first one day at Karachi. The tour started with one day, and we had this first big game at Karachi. And I think it was a high-scoring game. India made 370 or something, and Pakistan was almost there in terms of Inzman made a big 100, and it became very close. Ultimately, the match got decided by, I think, some brilliant overs bowled by Nehra. In the end, I think he defended 8 runs or something in the last over. I might be wrong, but it was a on game till he bowled, and that absolutely incredible catch by Kaif. So, and in my memory of so many years of watching cricket, I've never seen a more noisy, stadium than that day at Karachi. You were standing outside the balcony of the dressing room, and if you and I are standing next to each other, we couldn't hear conversation. It was so noisy. It was brilliant. And again, a very close game, which at one stage we thought we'd lost and we won. So that sort of set the tone for the tour. And that was a tour on which Balaji became a superstar. At one stage, perhaps he was more popular than the rest of the team put together. I'm not exaggerating. Balaji's following on that tour was that of a rock star.
But what did he do to get that kind of following?
Yeah, actually, that's a bit of a mystery. But I think it started that, we were at a reception by the President Musharraf at his official residence, where he made a reference to Balaji, saying that I saw the Indian team play. I think that was just a day after we lost the match, a one-day game. And he said, but I was very impressed with Balaji, because though the Indian team lost, he fought like a soldier. And he's my hero. He was doing his best. And, that is the kind of, people I admire. So he gave that big certificate to Balaji. And then the media caught on and things. And ultimately, Balaji's popularity was in excess of anybody else. There was a function at LUMS, which is the Lahore University Management Studies or something. It's the equivalent of our IIMs. Okay, it's a major academic institution. So some of the players were invited there for a chat. And I think it was Dravid, Irfan, Balaji, and I think one more. And I went. And you had a packed auditorium. And they were yelling Balaji's name. Like he was Amitabh Bachchan. Balaji kind of thing. And he only had to get up and smile to, start that kind of a reception. A similar thing happened when he went to Wagah. You have this, that evening parade every day at Wagah with, soldiers from both sides when the flag is, pulled down for the day. So we were on the Pakistani side. We went from Lahore.
Okay.
And the Pakistani side was full, and there was the Indian side. And after a while, everybody realized that the Indian team was there. Which itself is strange because we ought to be on the other side.
On the other side.
So here, the Pakistani side, all the people were again yelling, screaming for Balaji. And then the Indian side caught on. So they also started doing the same. So you had this parade of soldiers, but the hero was Balaji. He's a very likable guy. He's smiling all the time, has great sort of, happy, vibes about him. So I think everybody took to him, and he also enjoyed that admiration which he, got.
Shoaib Akhtar was at his peak in 2004, wasn't he?
Well, not at his peak, but Shoaib is always a threat. He is genuinely.
So
I think he has fitness issues.
Okay.
He missed games, and on the wickets in the Test match, he was part of that Multan game where Sehwag made 300, and they're not at his best, but he, Wasim Akram are always threats. So whether fully fit, not fully fit. I also remember a Test match in Calcutta. When the Pakistani team came here, you'll recall the Test match which had that incident of Sachin getting run out, the bowler's end. There was a controversy, and then the match was completed without crowds. So it's like COVID times, no empty stadium. In that game, Wasim Akram was unfit. He is diabetic. and he was running fever, and he was running serious fever. And I don't think many people in that state would have even left the hotel, let alone play. Now, he was that ill. But still, he came to the ground, he trained, he bowled. And during breaks, he would come and just be flat out in the dressing room. Because he just wouldn't have the strength. But that is the kind of commitment somebody great like Wasim or Shoaib Akhtar or Sachin or Dravid would bring to the game.
Okay.
When you're needed, you go and do it. You overcome pain, you overcome weakness, you overcome injury, you overcome lack of form. But that's what makes a great cricketer and a great athlete and a great sportsman, actually. It's not just doing well when the going is good. When you are under pressure, you're being challenged in whatever way, and then you succeed. So I think Wasim Akram, Shoaib Akhtar, Dravid, Tendulkar, they're real superstars. Yeah? For instance, both Sachin and Rahul Dravid have this issue of dehydration. So if they're exposed to hot conditions, batting for long, they tend to cramp. So you have the team physio and the trainer making special drinks for them, keeping record of their hydration levels, check them out at every break, and then give them whatever hydration supplements needed. But they would go through it. They will not complain. If they are physically exhausted, if they're dehydrated, they'll find a way. What makes them champion? It's not just cricket technique and getting up there and making runs. So much hard work, preparation, sacrifice goes into becoming great. So that's what you see when you have a chance to watch these people going about their business, their craft, at close quarters. There was a tour, I think, where for a long time Sachin decided not to have a net. Now, anybody else would repeatedly, regularly go into the net and work things out. And when I asked him, he gave me a very simple answer. He said, "Ball theek lag rahi hai. I'm okay. I feel fine." So I know where I stand, what space I'm in. Similarly, there was this case of Azhar, where he was not making runs. But he was unperturbed. He said, "Run ho jayenge. I feel okay. Ball bat mein theek lag rahi." So they have this sixth sense, and they know when they are in rhythm, or if they're not, what needs to be done. So from outside, you might think that man is not making runs. He should be working doubly hard. He should be spending more time in the net. But his attitude, approach is different. He said everything is fine. Maybe I'm not getting runs for, you might get a bad decision. You might get a bad ball. You might get, lucky in some way. But there's nothing wrong in my batting. So that also is the understanding which a thinking, intelligent, sharp mind would bring, and that is why they succeed.
So from being involved with Test cricket over 2 decades, and then running one-day cricket, being part of everything, sir. You started off with the IPL with Delhi Daredevils, which was then Delhi Daredevils in 2008. How did that come about? And then we'll come to the first game, which almost didn't happen.
That is also by an accident. I was in the government, but I knew Lalit Modi from much earlier. I knew him at least maybe 15 years before the IPL started. And in fact, in the mid-90s, we were working on a project which was identical to the IPL.
Okay.
This was mid-90s.
Okay.
And it didn't work at that time for various reasons. The time was not right. The money wasn't there. The BCCI wasn't supportive. But the point is that, I had worked on that project, but it didn't take off. But I knew Lalit. So when the IPL actually started, there was a search for people in cricket to be part of the 8 teams, because suddenly you required so-called professionals who understood and had experience and background to be part of running operations, running those teams. So I was approached. Some were serious approaches, some were not too serious. But I had this thing from Lalit to join. But ultimately, I was approached by the GMR, the Daredevils people, and I thought it best to be part of that because it was based in Delhi.
Mhm.
I was also in Delhi. I had very sort of close uh, relations and understanding with the DDC and Mr. Jaitley as president. So I took the decision of resigning and retiring from my government job to
Mhm.
join IPL full time. So again, it was a matter of chance that an opportunity came my way.
Mhm.
Because in those days, there were not many people who had a background in cricket and BCCI and operations. Now there are many excellent, professionals over the years because of IPL and the 12 years it's happened.
Mhm.
But at that time, I think we were in a bit of a short supply. But I think I made the right choice of being part of the Daredevils.
Mhm.
And it's an exciting time because this is, though it's cricket, it's also commerce. You are
Exactly.
responsible for the cricket results and you're responsible for the balance sheet.
Mhm.
So cricket in a different context, cricket with a different objective, and maybe ultimately it's a business enterprise. It's a cricket
Mhm.
business. So the expectation and responsibility is different,
Mhm.
but it helps that you are part of the system. The cricket is, the ecosystem and the people involved are very small. It's a small world,
Mhm.
even now. So there
Yeah.
are only maybe if there are 300 people connected to the cricket now, maybe at that time there were only 75. So it helps that you got to start ahead of
Yeah.
others,
Mhm.
and you got an opportunity to do something new, exciting, and it's been
Mhm.
fantastic the way IPL has come, grown in these
Mhm.
years.
And the challenges posed by something like an IPL, like the very first game in Delhi, I remember the media center was under construction the night of the game, the night before the game.
Was it not just the
So
media center? When the IPL teams were allocated and Delhi got a team, and you had to conduct 7 home matches as part of the league, and we didn't have lights. So the
yeah,
first challenge was to install lights. We were perhaps the only center without lights. So the first
okay.
challenge was you need lights because that is absolute prerequisite, essential condition of the IPL. Then you're aware of the challenges in Delhi anyway. Kotla is not the best stadium, and not just Kotla. See, the IPL had a different paradigm. It required high security, it required high hospitality, entertainment, you know, looking after VIPs, stadium experiences. And none of the stadiums were geared to deliver those things.
Mhm.
You require security, but there's no security setup. You require decent ticket checking, there are no turnstiles. You require hospitality, there's no kitchen, there's no storage. You require entertainment, there's no giant screen. Certainly, these things are essential to IPL, but the infrastructure isn't there. There's no
Mhm.
place to keep your, store food or keep your cricket equipment or to install your security setup. So there was a last minute rush. You require toilets, you require parking, and you require it every week. It's not
Yeah,
that one international game you hold in 2 years, then you go to sleep. Here, within 6 weeks, you have 7 big time, IPL home games. So the challenge was to put everything together, and initially
Mhm.
nobody knew what to do. You know, uh, you didn't know what kind of ticket pricing to have. Is it okay to have a 500 rupee ticket? Is it okay to charge a 1,000 rupee ticket? Should the ticket rate be same for a weekend game or a 4 o'clock game with a weekend night game?
Mhm.
How much can you charge for a hospitality ticket? Is it okay to serve free booze in Delhi,
Mhm.
in the top end hospitality areas? Will
Yeah.
it create another problem? Will there be misbehavior? Will there be
Uh-huh.
some some issues with people getting drunk and things? So these were something new to a cricket match or organizing cricket in India.
Mhm.
There were cheerleaders. Where do the cheerleaders change? There's no dressing room. There's no change room.
Mhm. Yeah.
So there are simple challenges of every kind, but you went with it and you sort of found solutions as you
Mhm.
saw problems. And after 1 or 2 years, it becomes standard. Then it's just following the same routine. I remember in the first year, the accreditation system broke down, meaning the people, the police requires everybody to be properly screened and given accreditation. And only those people are allowed in. Okay, the police background check has to be done, etc. It's a complicated process. Now, somehow it didn't happen in time. And a day before the game, the police comes and locks down the stadium for a security sweep.
Yeah.
The bomb squad and everything. And the Now, they have locked down the stadium. Your accreditation system is not working. Your ground staff don't have the
Access.
cards to get access. They can't come in to prepare the pitch.
Mhm.
So you have a crisis. You can't have a game without ground staff. Yeah? And the police ने तो बंद कर दिया stadium. Accreditation system ने उनको passes deliver नहीं किए time पे ground staff को. So there were these crises at each stage in the beginning. But that's actually a part of the journey, exciting part of the journey that you're doing something new and put together. So I think ultimately it went off okay, and everybody learned from 1 year's experience, and then things started getting better.
How would you view the IPL then and now, 12 years hence? How do you think it's changed, not only in terms of cricket, in terms of administration?
See, cricket is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Initially what was good, 160, 180 was good. Now 200 is not good enough. So, the batting techniques have changed. There's new kinds of bowling. So the cricket technically and strategically has evolved. IPL 2019 is vastly different from IPL 2008 in terms of cricket and the way it is played, strategy-wise, technique-wise, execution-wise. You did have somebody like Andre Russell, who in the last IPL, over the full season, hit every third ball to the boundary. That's incredible. Every third ball went either for a 4 or a 6. So cricket has changed. In terms of the non-cricket side of the IPL, I think the business side has stabilized. Now everybody knows what are the ticket prices, what kind of values to assign to uniform properties, how much will the front of the test cost for Delhi, how much will it cost in KKR, how much will it be with MI. So the business side of brand building, tickets, uniforms, the sponsorship levels, that is stabilized. Thirdly, the operations are now on autopilot. You've been part of on-ground operations at venues. Everybody knows what to do. The franchise teams know what to do. The IMG, IPL knows what to do. The players know what to expect. Now it's just repeating it, doing it, making improvements. But the basic template is settled, is established. There are no surprises anymore. You might have a crisis of some kind, which you tackle, but you're not going into basics like getting toilets cleaned, chairs painted, side screens installed, finding a place to put the TV production, equipment. So those things are over. Everybody knows where this will be, storage कहाँ होगा, entertainment का सामान कहाँ रखा जाएगा, security camera कहाँ लगेगा, dressing room में क्या होना है. So that's all sorted. That's on autopilot. So the operation side is settled. The business side is also settled. And the cricket keeps evolving. That is sport. Sport will never be static. There will be changes, there will be improvements, there will be innovation, there will be new strategies. So I think overall, IPL is a more vibrant product. It's a better quality product now, and it's a safer, more established product. And I think if you look at it, it is India's major, perhaps the only contribution in terms of advancing world cricket. It is IPL which is given India a leadership role in terms of cricket. This is a formula which everybody is copying, xeroxing. Whether there's a league in Bangladesh, Pakistan, West Indies, South Africa, England now, Australia. So the template is IPL. There will be some innovation, some tweaking, some changes. But the basic concept of professionally managed franchise teams, playing T20 cricket with so much add-ons in terms of entertainment and masala and masti, that's IPL's formula. So I think it's terrific that India has contributed something to world cricket. I think it's the most revolutionary change since Packer. Packer jolted the system, shook it, and gave something new. I think the next major shake-up to world cricket was through the IPL.
Yeah. Something like the Nepal Everest Premier League in Nepal. Someone in Nepal was never known as a cricketing nation, but you've got some amazing players coming from there. You've been involved with the league, sir. So
the thing is, it again shows the power of cricket. And it also
Yeah.
shows the power of the product. That if you have, say, T20 cricket, which is hyped up, presented as an exciting contest, marketed properly, by building up your stars and creating fan base and loyalty towards them, then it works. You're right. You've seen the experience in Nepal. You had full houses from the knockout stage, etc. And don't forget, Nepal is not a cricket country. It's a football country, and uh, there are no big stars. There is no support for cricket, but the product appeals to fans. And after a while, you get into the habit of supporting and looking forward to an event.
Mhm.
So not just in Nepal. I think there have been advances recently in Canada, in Europe, in other places. Some have
Yeah.
succeeded, some have not succeeded. But the fact is that everybody understands the potential of this product.
You've also subsequently been involved with teams like Rajasthan and Uttarakhand. How is it developing cricket in these states?
See, I've been fortunate that I've worked with many state cricket associations. I've worked with um, UP. I worked informally with Madhya Pradesh. I
Okay.
worked with railways. Obviously, I was
Of course. Yeah.
directly in control for 8-10 years. Um, I've done Rajasthan because the High Court appointed me as an administrator
Mhm.
when the RCA was officially suspended from the BCCI. So there, and then I've been with Uttarakhand for a year.
Mhm.
So that gives you a great insight into how cricket works. See, we all know about the Indian team, the top stars, about them. But actual cricket is at the first class Ranji level.
Mhm.
You have 38 teams. You have almost 1,000 first class cricketers who earn a living. They are the base, the structure over which the Indian team is
Rests.
rests and things. So it is the vibrancy, the strength of the domestic cricket which ultimately
Mhm.
produces players to represent India and for India to do well. So that is the key. Now, domestic cricket has undergone serious change. Because of that's again one reason is the IPL,
Mhm.
the kind of awareness, knowledge which people acquire in the IPL gets transmitted to the dressing rooms and first class teams. So if you have three players who are playing for an IPL team, they come back to the state, they share their knowledge and their insight with others. So
Mhm.
you see everywhere, fitness levels have improved, fielding is far superior. There's more emphasis now in India on medium pace bowling across Ranji teams. More discipline. Cricket is more sorted. Cricket is more strategic. Sometimes the quality may be up, down, but in terms of being aware of what needs to be done to succeed and excel, that
Mhm.
knowledge has gone down the line, and that makes Indian cricket stronger, and it produces, more cricketers capable of succeeding at the highest level. The other
Mhm.
day I read a statement from Dravid saying the purpose of domestic cricket is to prepare quality cricketers for the Indian team and for the Indian team to win.
Yeah.
Okay, so our entire effort should be on domestic cricket to produce that quality. Okay, whether it's pitches, whether it's umpires, whether it's facilities, whether it's infrastructure, everything should be geared to
Mhm.
improve the quality of domestic cricket. And I think that's happening. There have
Mhm.
been large investments in infrastructure, awareness and education about cricket. As I think, uh, IPL is a crash course in
Yeah.
getting the latest because you're
Mhm.
in a room with five, top international stars, three test captains, the best coaches in the world. So you learn. You know,
Yeah.
you have each of the IPL teams has about 15 Indian cricketers, a minimum of 15 cricketers. So that's 120 Indian cricketers getting exposed to the best in the world every year
Yeah.
and updating the knowledge over
Mhm.
6, 8 weeks.
Mhm.
Nothing can be better in terms of knowledge transfer than this. So
Yeah.
I think the domestic cricket is better across states. Some states are ahead of others, some are not. But I think there's still one major area which needs attention, which is they deserve better financial security. They need more
Okay.
money.
Uh-huh.
It's a myth that every cricketer makes money. The domestic cricketer is struggling
Mhm.
because, unlike at the international level, you get money in domestic cricket and Ranji only if you're selected. There's no guarantee.
Exactly.
There's no contract. There's no security. So Ashwin Krishnan is a Ranji player. If he's selected to play for his state, he gets X amount of money, which is fine. And he's comfortable in terms of his annual earnings. But risk is, if Ashwin gets injured, he gets zero. If Ashwin gets dropped because of poor form, again, there's no safety net. He's required to play cricket from September to March, which is 7-8 months. In that period, he can't hold a job. He can't go to college. His life is committed to cricket. And cricket doesn't give him the financial security because there's no annual contract. He gets paid only if selected. I think that needs to change. We need to give our domestic cricketers an annual contract, just as we give Virat Kohli an annual contract for India. So if Virat gets a contract for India, Ashwin should get a contract for playing for his state. You know, that's how it is that's how it is across all major test playing countries. South Africa, England, West Indies, Australia, everywhere. So I think that is something which needs to be addressed. Otherwise, another area of concern could be wickets, but I think a lot has been done there. All the wickets, there's always scope for improvement. But I think my first challenge, or first priority would be to give that financial security to the young kid who's committing his life to cricket.
What do you think needs to be done to improve the infrastructure, or do you think it's good enough in India?
Listen, I think we need to change the focus of it. Till now, the focus has been on creating these mammoth mega stadiums. I think we need to shift from that to create more functional cricket stadiums, smaller in size, but with better cricket facilities. You know, it's surprising that many of our big, regular, international test venues don't have a practice ground. So you are practicing in the middle, you're practicing on one side of the ground. That has to improve. I think it should be essential to have smaller, more functional stadiums with much better practice facilities and indoor facilities. You know, you don't want to lose 4 months to rain. You don't want to lose a few months to extreme heat. So I think that should be focused. The BCCI or whoever should incentivize association to create these kind of facilities and not just a big stadium.
One question I have to ask, and I've been meaning to ask this of you. What about a stadium with a retractable roof? Do you think that will work? Because in Australia, what they do is then they leverage the stadium for other sports when cricket is off season, but we don't have an off season anymore. But do you think a retractable roof stadium we don't have even one in India?
I think down the line is going to happen. It's going to happen because it takes away the weather, it takes away the rain, etc.
Exactly.
And it's a different spectacle. Actually, night cricket as it is a different spectacle. And if you remove the uncertainty of rain or some other weather conditions interfering, it becomes a more attractive proposition. But for the economics to work, it's an expensive asset.
Yeah.
With a retractable roof. If you look at the numbers for, say, the cost of putting the retractable roof at Wimbledon or somewhere else, it's a staggering amount. So the stadium then has to be not just limited to cricket. It has to attract other events, whether it's music playing or whatever else, other sport. You know, for instance, you realize that Melbourne does this major transformation, the MCG, from cricket to football. Okay, the seasons don't overlap. So, but the stadium has to be almost redone for the other sport to happen. You know, the grass has to be relaid almost overnight. The cricket drop-in pitches have to be put in. So you have that flexibility because a stadium with a covered roof in terms of cost, etc., would be unviable if it's only holding a certain number of cricket matches.
Yeah.
We'll get there soon because there are mega events happening and you'll have multi-sports being organized, maybe on-sports events being organized. So, but it will happen, I'm sure.
Only one worry with these drop-in wickets, sir, is that they become dead tracks. You can never have a lively drop-in pitch because the wickets in Australia have slowed down because they drop in.
Yeah, but that's the way because most of the wickets in Australia, New Zealand are drop-in pitches. And New Zealand is not dead. by any way. So it's a science to preparing a wicket. So
Okay.
obviously you would want that part of the cricket organization to also step up. You don't want everything great in terms of infrastructure and a dead wicket. But these are things which you have to do as the game evolves.
Okay.
And they've succeeded in many parts, and I'm sure they can succeed here also.
Okay. Final question: what does the future hold for Mr. Amrit Mathur?
Listen, I'm very happy to be retired, and I'm actually looking forward to reading more on cricket. There is so much, very excellent writing by people on the game, because cricket is not just two teams playing on the field. There is so much that surrounds cricket. There's the spirit of the game. There are great careers to follow. There are examples of sportsmanship, of lessons, life lessons. So we tend to look at sport only as a event or some game to be seen on television, where you are engrossed in the battle which is going on. But there is so much to cricket, so much to ambition says cricket is life. So so it's a wider understanding of the game, and not just cricket, sport as such. And I'm happy to be involved. In fact, I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to be part of cricket as an administrator, as an official, as doing different jobs. Whether it's a manager, I was employed by the BCCI. I worked with cricket associations. I've been part of the economics and the corporate side of cricket in terms of IPL. I've been part of the media. I've been writing. Much more important than all that, I actually cherish the friendships of people involved in cricket, whether it's players, officials, or the ground staff, the curator, the scorer. I think it's great. Cricket is a unique world, and it's a small world, and it's a very, come to think of it, it's a very affectionate, close group. So over the years, you make good friendships, you get to know people, and there are excellent professionals doing their job, whether it is a video analyst, whether it's a scorer, whether it's the curator, whether it is somebody else in the BCCI who's trying to make the fixtures, whether it's the players, the umpires, the match referees. So I think it's great that you get to meet people, you travel, you enjoy the sport, the friendships you make. Excellent, can't be better.
I think one thing that you've left out, sir, is a book, and you must write a book, because all your experience must be condensed into a book that other people can read and assimilate.
I'll try and do that. Only if I'm convinced that somebody is there to read it.
I will read it. I'm the first guy. I'm suggesting it. I will buy the first copy.
No,
anyways,
I know I'm tempted at times, but it requires a lot of hard work. So maybe I need to convince myself that I have something to say. There's no point writing something which even you're not convinced about. So I don't have a story to sell. It's not a novel I'm writing. But if there is something which I think can be shared, then I'd do it. But I need to be convinced that what I am trying to say is worthwhile.
I hope you're convinced soon enough, sir. And thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Great talking to you, friend.
Right, sir. And stay safe, stay in.
All the best to you and everybody else.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.